isn't what is accepted as the new norm. We have to keep working to reduce that space.
100%.
And that also leads into some of the stuff which you were talking about last week, Lily, where, you know, we now, thanks to Gallo Glass and other health and safety professionals and entities around the world, you know, we have the ability now to take that information and to create, I guess, you know, we can look at that as a foundation, but then create experiences and be creative with how we implement
we got
these
to take
guidelines.
the two. We got to bring the two. We got to marry the production side and we got to marry the creative side. And this is something that we keep saying over and over again. And I think it's a process. So now that we've got the likes of Steve Nation, we'll have the infrastructure. So we know, okay, well, to be able to do events, this is the bare minimum of the technical side that you need to think about. Now that we've got that, then we hand that over to our incredible creatives in the industry and say, okay, well, this is the technical side of it. Well, how do we make it enjoyable? How do we make it something that people want to come and enjoy? That it isn't just simply the 2 meters apart. That, as Steve said, that's not something that attracts people. That's not something that's going to sing to people's hearts.
And also, it goes completely against what we as humans instinctively feel. Like, we want to be together. We want to be close to people.
Well, I'm looking, like, just turn around, have a look.
There's a picture of Mick Jagger.
Yeah, but look in the crowd.
Yeah.
You know, that's just, that's awesome. Now imagine, take it down 70%.
Yeah, I mean...
And you're listening to Mick Jagger, and your buddy that you've gone down there to have the time of your life with, to watch Mick Jagger sing his lungs out, is over there, and he's just there saying your favorite song, and you're like, high five.
But I mean, like, but things are starting to open up in the world, and it could be good to get Steve in here. Is, you know, we're hearing, you know, like Shanghai Disney, for example, has reopened. Things in Macau are reopening, and I think also this week with the announcement that there's 0 cases in New Zealand, looking at reintroducing sporting and, you know, spectators to arenas. Steve, in terms of like reopening, you know, what are your thoughts on, you know, the venues and the places around the world that we should be keeping an eye on to see how they're doing? Is like what's happening in Australia and New Zealand?
Yeah, whose lead should we be taking?
Yeah, exactly. Something in New Zealand and Australia, something which we should be watching and following quite closely.
That is exactly right, and probably quantifies what I was saying about the east to west resumption. You know, there was there could be, you know, levels of criticism laid at different countries and their speed of reaction to combat the spread of the disease. It was quite clear from the outset that New Zealand and Australia, you know, took this. Not that anybody wouldn't take it seriously, but they actually locked down very quickly, and as you've seen from the media at the moment, you know, they are looking at no social distancing and potentially having stadiums full of people where it's full capacity, which is absolutely brilliant and something that really should, you know, excite and give event producers and creatives, etc., a little bit of incentive and motivation to say, you know what, it can be done, it will be done. We just need to keep positive and eventually and I'll bore you with that phrase again, but by process of risk assessment, and it's about elimination, isn't it? Come on, you've never been to an event where you could say that every eventuality was eliminated. You know, our goal is to reduce the risks to as near as damn possible for people to enjoy the experience. And I think from this perspective, we should be promoting and shouting from the rooftops that actually we've got some of the most skillful people in the world, certainly in Dubai and the UAE. That are going to pick up the good practices, you know, that the Kiwis and the Aussies are doing now, and running with it.
I think that's a really good point that you mentioned as well. It's about the giving hope, because, you know, a lot of the conversations I've been having with people is for whatever reason there's no clarity, there's no vision. A lot of people are very
but I think
scared
people,
and unsure what's happening for the future.
It is that, but people also want to know what is the next step. So we are talking about there is hope. We are seeing that around the world that people are starting to have events, that they are looking at having full capacity. I guess my next question, and again this is for you, Steve, putting you in the hot seat. What do you think is the next step? What is the best way to move forward? Because it's all well and good for us as the industry to feel positive that things are coming back to normal, but it's the clients that we need. Yeah. You know, we're ready to go, but the clients need to be there with us. So What do you suggest is the right way, the next step, or the logical next step to how we handle this? So we've got all of this information. What do we do with it?
That's a really good point.
Well, Lily, you make a great point, and it does come back to one word that we've been using, and Dan will be very understanding when I use this word. It's confidence. If we can instill confidence. Hey, listen, I wasn't being flippant when I say we have some of the most skillful and creative, brilliant people working in our sector. That passion is unbelievable, and it ranges, from the smallest event to the largest public event. But the point you made, which is right, is how do we then instill confidence in our clients, for example, but more importantly, if I would say for the technical guys who are putting the show together, the creators who are designing it, and then when it comes to the top of the tree, the people who are actually attending, the visitors, the guests, the attendees, they need to have confidence that, not only are we saying we're bloody good at what we do, we are actually good at what we do, and we can prove it by the introduction. At the moment, you can see certainly in New Zealand and Australia that the live events really are happening mostly outdoor. You've seen it even in the UAE with the drive-in cinemas. There are initiatives about external events, particularly when you've got the weather that we have in the UAE. We can utilize that. Maybe not August, but certainly when we start to go into the winter, there are far more advantages to be able to show and demonstrate what we can do outside. That's not to say that the exhibition halls and the theatres and the cinemas, etc., should be forgotten about here, because obviously that's the theatre world particularly is suffering big style, and it's one of the biggest concerns of mine is how we can get those events back on safely so that people feel comfortable sitting in a theatre and getting that experience back again.
But you're 100% right. Starting outdoors is a good place to.
And that's what all the medical advice is, or the advice from government and different entities. It's just pretty impossible at the moment.
True.
When it's like 1,000,000 degrees outside when you're walking for coffee.
It is a little bit too hot. But it is our downside of the industry time anyway. Events, it's always been quiet at this point. But it's a good way for the industry when they're going to their clients to sort of, with solutions, saying, well, here's what we can do. We can start outdoors. September onwards, the weather's starting to get better. Yeah. So if they're looking at events and looking at event solutions and saying, you know what, if we go inside, we still have a bit of a limit with capacity. But if we go outside, we're limited by the space.
And that's going back to the creative solutions, which we were talking about earlier. But it also gives people hope that, yes, events can come back for the time that the season begins, hopefully.
Yeah. Solution for every event, but at least it's a start.
And a solution nonetheless. And one of the last things I want to talk about quickly before we let Steve go, health and safety is often focused on the safety element. However, now obviously with the pandemic, there's a massive focus on health. Steve, how do you see the industry evolving in the future to really support people's well-being in particular, but also the mental and emotional side of what it is that we do? I think that's quite an interesting topic, which maybe for another one.
That leads to episode 5, I reckon.
Indeed. But Steve, do you see, health and safety, really focusing on the health aspects of it and people's well-being more so than the safety in terms of like trussing, rigging, that side of stuff?
Yeah, I'd hate to say that these were buzzwords, but for a long time we certainly have been our company have been focused on the mental health and the physical well-being of particularly of cast and crew from the outset. Yeah. The norm of the 18-hour day and the first on site, last off site, etc. And you were counted as dare I say it, a bit of a wimp if you were kind of going home after 12, 14 hours or something. That really, I think, is as that type of old-fashioned attitude. And look, this is my 35th year in this industry. I've not ever been so much more excited that people are actually caring about each other. It's a huge it's a huge impact on, especially as we're trying to get back from where we were, maybe 6 or 8 weeks ago. People are actually caring a bit more. I'm not sure whether you guys would have felt it as well.
100%.
Yeah, 100%.
100%. That's why we're here.
Yeah, that is 100% why we're here, because we really do care about our industry, but also our people. As an industry, I think more than
Lots
many,
of people are hurting.
We've really suffered, whether it's financially, emotionally, being away from families, not being able to be creative and do the things that we love. So
but one of the
really
things
important.
that I love, and Steve, I absolutely love the fact that you even brought that to the table. As an industry, it's one of the industries where I find people really do care about each other. And so many times I've seen on Facebook or different social groups where people will comment about something that's going on, or they're looking for something, and within seconds, everyone as a team sort of jumps in and goes, I can help with this, can you do that? I can do this, or have you figured out, have you found a place, do you need anything? And people come together. Like that's one of the beauties of the heart and soul of this industry. And I think that's going to be what's really going to help us see it through.
It is, yeah, and hopefully we can get back on track. We really want to get our industry up and running.
I want to be up at 4 o'clock in the morning.
And as safely as possible. Steve, one final comment. Next steps. I know Gallo Glass has been working quite closely with members of our industry, and I know that ILEA has finally, jumped on board and supporting the documents that you're creating.
And fantastic that you guys created this document.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a massive benefit to the rest of the industry. Steve, what are the next steps on that, and what can we do as an industry to be able to support and drive this further forward?
Gosh. Well, unfortunately, this is going to be the industry norm of agreement. I mean, it drives us nuts. I'm sure you feel it yourselves as well.
Yeah.
That as an industry, a creative industry that has so many bright and clever and talented people. We seem to have a little bit of a problem agreeing with each other, and that's kind of happened, has been prevalent for many years. Whether or not it's the national rigging certificates, or if it's competency for technical cast and crew. How do we define competency? The point with this really is that the next steps have to be that we have some joined up learning and joined up agreements. You pushed very hard, Dan, and it has been excellent to go on this journey with you with getting ILEA on board.
Yeah.
ILEA being the one true representative body in the Middle East are now on board with us, and they're kind of championing what we've done. We've only done this because there won't be a huge amount of financial gain, and you know what? To be quite frank, we don't want that.
Well, the financial gain will come from being able to get back into business and being able to work again. So
I think that's the motivation why we spend so much time on it, and it is a 4-step way of getting an event back together. And don't forget, at the moment, the simple answers are, wash your hands, wear a face mask, stay 2 meters apart. That's great. And if you look at the pictures at the Dubai Fountain, for example, that's members of the public watching a fountain show. What we need to drill down to, and hopefully this guidance that we've created. I hate to say the word expert, but let's be fair. If we don't, the chances are we'll get overlooked, and people who maybe not know enough about our industry will be making decisions on our behalf.
Exactly the point we're making.
Yeah.
The bottom line is I hear what you're saying by saying we are an industry of many voices, but if we look at whenever it comes to delivering any project, everyone has a role to play.
Yeah.
And everyone sticks to the role they do because that's what they're really great at. Gallo Glass, as you said, you're experts. You don't need to be shy about it. It's the truth. Yeah. You know what you're talking about. That's not my area of expertise. It's not your area of expertise, and it's not an event producer's expertise. We look to you for those answers. So if I throw it out there to the industry and all the people that are having so many opinions, well, if you really want to get back out there, we need to listen to you, Steve. We need to listen to the experts.
Yeah. That's
simple. And we need to support you as the industry to make sure collectively we can get back to what we love doing most.
So I think that's going to be the challenge for all of us now.
Great, Lili.
That's going to be the challenge for all of us now, as we collectively work to get back to business and support each other and tangibly support each other and actually make it happen. Steve, thank you so much for your time. We really do appreciate it. And also as well to anybody that's listening, anybody out there that has questions, Steve and the team are definitely available for answers. So definitely check out Gallo Glass, contact us directly, and we'd be more than happy to connect everybody. And like I said, we want to build this collective so that we can make tangible change and improve our industry, which is going through a real hard time at the moment, and we want to do our part to make it better. Steve, thank you so much for joining us.
It's more than a pleasure, guys, and it's brilliant to be working alongside you, and long may it continue. Let's get back to what we would suggest would be the new norm, a safer and better environment, let's say that.
Indeed. Thank you so much, Steve. We will speak to you very soon. Thank you. So I want to say a huge thank you to Steve for joining us today. It's always good to get people from within.
You know what? I think he's going to be redefining our new normal.
Well, collectively,
we've got to listen to him, right?
Well, yeah, of course.
I know how to make things pretty. He's just going to let us be able to do it.
Of course, I forget to say yes to things. Health and safety, I always like to say no, or at least maybe not that one. But yeah, thank you so much. And again, the whole reason why we're here is we want to try and initiate these conversations and to start dialogue with our industry.
It's going to be the beginning of many.
It is going to be the beginning of many.
I know that there are lots of topics that people want to talk about, and we'll cover them. Yeah. Like anyone who's got any topic they want us to speak about, want to understand a little bit more, let us know, and we will dig through and bring it back to the load-in.
100%. And a lot of people did actually contact us wanting to speak about health and safety. So I really do hope that we managed to answer some of those questions today.
It's just scratching the tip of the iceberg, isn't it?
It's a big iceberg to scratch.
So at least it's a good start.
It is indeed, and it is a start. And collectively, as Steve mentioned, as you mentioned, and with the support of ILEA and different entities, we'd like to bring this together. So we will try and connect the dots as much as possible. 100%. And if anybody wants to join us or get involved, then please do message us. We'll give you contact details so you can do that, and hopefully we can really push for tangible change and
100%.
Evolution within our industry, which is going through some remarkable times right now.
It takes a team to deliver.
Indeed it does.
Indeed it does. On that point.
Cool. Thank you so much, Lily. It was awesome. And also thank you to the guys and to Ian and to Adam at Warehouse 4 for this incredible facility.
Brilliant facility.
I want to stay.
Well,
Yeah, I like this place.
You're not getting rid of us, Ian.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you so much, guys. We will see you next time.
And we are the load-in.
We are the load-in.